Yes, you read the title correctly. I didn't love The Boys Season 4. And before you go typing away in the comments, this isn't because the season was overly political or was woke, like some YouTubers were calling it. Critical drinker. It was for a multitude of other reasons that I think is currently making the show worse over time. I waited until the entire show was out before making this video because I wanted to be able to watch a new episode every night, so the story was fresh in my mind. This whole waiting a week for a new episode on streaming is honestly driving me insane, and I'm glad I took this approach because I was able to fully dive into the story at hand with no wait time in between episodes where I could potentially forget anything important. But honestly, I could have forgotten the whole first half of the season and it wouldn't have made a difference in the outcome of this season's finale. Plot lines could have been scrapped, character arcs felt undercooked or wasted, and the season's graphic nature is definitely starting to be perceived less favorably from me 4 seasons in. Now, there were a few things this season I did enjoy, which I'll break down first because although some people will say I'm a certified hater, I do try and enjoy these types of media when I can and where I can find it. So without further ado, let's break down my thoughts on The Boys Season 4. Starting off, it goes without saying that Homelander and Butcher are easily the best written characters in the show and remain that way. These two were the only characters I was interested in this season from a story perspective, and whenever they weren't a part of a scene, I was genuinely uninterested. And it's not that these characters were always this way. I felt like the boys were much more interesting in past seasons than in this one in particular, but I'll go over that later. Antony Starr as Homelander is an undeniable treat. The man just evokes unease and threat in every scene he's in. Episode 4 was actually an insane display of his acting chops, but that episode was peak Homelander uneased I've ever seen. I didn't think anything could top the A-Train situation, but I digress. Watching Homelander mentally go insane while forcing his childhood abusers to do some of the most heinous activities left me speechless. I also enjoyed Homelander's budding relationship with Ryan. I've seen some criticisms going around that Ryan is too indecisive and doesn't stick to one ideology for too long, and I'm like, since when are kids supposed to make correct decisions all the time? Like, I could barely pick the clothes I wanted to wear before school when I was his age, let alone having a master manipulator in Homelander as a father and a drunken, insane Australian as a stepdad. All I'm saying is, I thought his indecisiveness was cool to watch, especially going into season 5, where I'm sure his arc will be a huge part of the season. One of my favorite scenes this season comes in the form of Ryan making that producer get slapped in the face by his PA. Thought it was hilarious, but it's also kind of interesting seeing Ryan develop some sadistic tendencies like his father. I also enjoyed Ryan's interactions with Butcher throughout the season too. He's the only character that's really enveloped in both worlds, and it's nice to be along with for the ride while we watch him go back and forth between them. Butcher's whole arc was pretty awesome too. As much as the boys themselves feel pretty stagnant, the Temp V giving Butcher cancer and having it slowly kill him throughout the season was a nice touch, since it felt like something new was happening to the team. Something a bit more motivational for them. Like I mentioned, a lot of how the characters interact with Butcher this season is as if it's the last time they'll ever see him since he's supposed to die in 6 months. And I felt a lot of those conversations held decent weight, especially when Butcher opens up to Ryan during an episode in the middle of the season. With the show so dependent on graphic and downright gross scenes for somebody's amusement, the down-to-earth, more sincere scenes like this one is what makes me enjoy the show a bit more. I'd also say the scene where Butcher and Grace try to use Ryan in the final episode was absolutely insane. Ryan straight up kamikazed his auntie. But the crazy part was Butcher finally committing to the demon parasite, or whatever it is that's infecting his brain, and inciting his plan to kill every suit because of Ryan killing Grace. As many issues as I have with this season, I thought the realization that Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character was just a being all in his head was a crazy reveal. And then to have Butcher become this soup killer in the end is going to make for a very interesting season 5 for sure. The Huey dad-mom arc was pretty meh for the most part, but I will say the episode where Huey's dad finally does go and he gets the chance to say goodbye floored me. I was holding back tears during that entire scene. Also, quick shout out to A-Train's redemption arc this season. It's been a long time coming, and the trauma he went through in season 3 with his brother and getting a new heart, this season develops him a lot, and it was pretty great to see. Also, the Deep stole the show in every scene.
First you try to cancel me, victimize an innocent man, because I guess that's just cool to do to white guys nowadays. But joke's on you. Me Too's over, sweetheart, it didn't work. Wah, wah, wah.
Now I want to dive into everything I found to be either mediocre or just bad this season. A lot of the issues I have with season 4 revolve around the plot and how the first half of the season unfolds. It feels like it's going absolutely nowhere. It isn't until around episode 5 where the boys need to utilize Newman's boyfriend to make the virus that things start to pick up and take more action. Compared to season 3, season 4's main plotline is so much messier. Season 3 had the boys with a very attainable goal: find and break out Soldier Boy, use him to kill Homelander, and every other plotline was surrounded by this kind of story, so everything felt normal. Season 4 though, the first half is this convoluted political plotline that ends up going nowhere really, except making Starlight lose her powers. She must have got hit with that mental block. Tobey Maguire could show her a few tips.
Oh boy, yeah.
And introducing us to Firecracker, who made this meme. I couldn't tell you how hard I laughed seeing this scene in real life. I couldn't believe this was a real scene in the show. But yeah, the political parts of the show just wasted time to add more scenes to make sure the show reached 8 episodes, and it was just boring. And don't get me started on some characters this season, man. Let's just get this out of the way. Colin doesn't suck because he's gay. He's just such a waste of time for the show. You could have replaced him with someone who connected to the virus plotline and would have worked so much better. How he's used here just feels like a waste of time until we get back to seeing Homelander or Butcher again. And Frenchie just exists to deal with his trauma for Colin. Like I said, I think this could have worked, but had it been connected more towards the overall plot. Had Colin been someone who was connected to the virus in some way, would have made me care more for him and his relationship with Frenchie. But after Colin finds out what Frenchie did, he just disappears forever, and Frenchie and Kimiko finally end up together. Which, like, they're totally better for each other, by the way. But Colin felt like a placeholder so Frenchie could still stay in the show for the first half of the season, but just be excused to not be a part of any relevant storylines taking place. Also, Kimiko had another useless storyline. She was just another trauma-induced character who felt sidelined until the midway point of the season as well. She was overcoming her time being a part of the Shining Light Liberation Army, dealing with her former members that she was forced to kill. And again, like Frenchie, this whole plotline felt so shoehorned into me. It felt like every time we saw any of the boys, it was always a side quest kind of storyline that didn't hit that hard and took time away from the main stuff happening. And that was for 4 episodes straight. Huey didn't really do anything until his dad was about to die, and then he popped up again. Giga Chad Starlight was a political opponent until she wasn't anymore. And don't get me started on Brother did nothing this season but find out he has panic attacks and that he misses his family. At least he kind of worked with A-Train, but that role could have been given to anyone else, and would not have been needed in this season at all. All of the side stories just go up in smoke after the main plot reveals itself in season 5, which is to get the virus from Newman and try and concentrate a dose to kill Homelander. And once the finale rolls around, I couldn't help but chuckle because of how on the nose and repetitive some of these finales are becoming. The boys will have a concrete plan to take down Homelander. Huey will then be like, "We mustn't hurt anyone else, sire, for the other soups are innocent and we shouldn't act like the bad guys here." Starlight will agree with him after flashing her eyes and doing something cool once. Frenchie will be French. Will be like, "Didn't think I could trust you, Butcher, but you proved me wrong." Except Butcher will then ruin the concrete plan for the plot, which continues the show for another season. Like, realistically, the season 3 finale should have been the end of the boys. I've never seen a more opportune time to kill off Homelander in my life, and to this day, it makes no sense why they didn't, but I digress. This show reuses very similar plot points and dialogue, and it's quite funny. Every season will open with Butcher not being trusted, being like, "You can't be here, Butcher, I'm in charge now." Starlight being like, "What the fuck is he doing here?" And Butcher being like, "Oi, boys, you need me, you filthy cunts, cause I got a plan." And here we are, 4 seasons in off that. And it's starting to lose its charm it once had. Back in 2019, when this show aired, everyone was looking for a new superhero property that shook up the bland MCU formula that was going on for 11 years at that point. And this show definitely did that. It's graphic, violent, dark, not afraid to poke fun at pop culture and politics, basically everything the MCU wasn't.
Damn.
And at the time, it was a breath of fresh air. But this is my opinion here. I think it's starting to lose its charm. Yeah, vulgarity can be used in a way to express how the real world is and how disgusting politics can be, but is it just me? Or is it when I see Huey getting sexually assaulted for a whole episode, or seeing Web Weaver rip ass and shoot webs in front of Homelander, or watch 70 people get brutally murdered, where I'm just like, what the fuck am I even seeing at this point? It just seems like the writers want to ruin any scene with conviction by being like, how weird can we make this scene right now? And it's starting to lose me. Maybe I just can't hang anymore. With the final season approaching within the next 2 years, I can't help but be glad the show is ending with a pretty decent run. Season 4 wasn't my favorite, but not every show is going to have 10 out of 10 seasons other than Breaking Bad, so it's a tough bar to reach. But these were my thoughts for the season, and I just wanted to express them to you all and see what you all have to say as well. There's also a new season of Gen V coming out, and now a new series with Jensen Ackles starring as Soulja Boy was announced at Comic-Con. And for a series hellbent on making fun of the current state of the superhero movie industry, they're really starting to become just like them. But what do you all think? Did you enjoy the season at all? Are you excited for the next one? Let me know down below, and while you're down there, if you can hit that like button and subscribe, that would be amazing. YouTube likes when you do those things because it'll push this video out to more people, which makes me happy. That's all I have for today, guys. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.